fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
All right, what's up, guys? Lane here with Broke Bets. Also got my guy Carson with me, as always. What's up?
Yes, sir. UFC 301's already here.
People might look at the main event on this card. You know, it's a little bit questionable, but let me tell you, there's some banger fights in this card. So,
pretty much a Brazilian in every single one of these fights, too. So,
and they come to fight.
A lot of them will win.
All right, first fight. Ismael Bonfim versus Vic, I think it's Vic Pichel. Vince, I don't know. It's fucking, spell your name right. That's what I'll say. We're going with Bonfim. Pichel just up there in age. Not particularly great anywhere. He's pretty well-rounded. But when it comes to this part of the game, that age advantage, and Bonfim really is a phenomenal fighter. I picked him versus Benoit Saint-Denis, but I think that was before anyone truly knew how strong Benoit Saint-Denis is. I remember the size discrepancy in that fight was unreal. And, you know, Saint-Denis just blasted those body kicks, and he used his strength and size in the wrestling, and Bonfim couldn't keep up with him. And I think Bonfim in a fight like this, boxing background, great ground game, I think he's just going to take over. And I'm saying a late knockout. I think just accumulation of damage here. So,
yeah, Bonfim is super well-rounded, ground game as well. Of his losses, all 4 of them are by submission, though. So, something to keep an eye on. But Pichel doesn't have a single submission victory, so I don't really see where Pichel will win this. He's been out of the game for 2 years, and then when he was in the game, he was fighting once a year. So he's got 3 fights since 2020. I like Bonfim here.
Right. I mean, I think I still have a lot of belief in the Bonfim brothers. I know Ismael, again, coming off a loss, and I don't know why they wanted this matchmaking so much. They tried to do this fight back in like November on the Derek Lewis Almeida card, and it fell off, and they still wanted it, I guess. They probably just want a comeback fight for him. But anyway, Bonfim.
Yeah, Bonfim, make weight this time, please, and you'll have an easy victory, probably.
Yeah, there we go. Bonfim, KO, round 3. Okay, for the next fight, we have Maurcio Ruffy versus Jamie Mullarkey. This is a tough one to call. We're gonna go with Ruffy, but if I hadn't seen Jamie Mullarkey's chin be so shit in recent fights and lapses in fight IQ, I feel like I know it's easy to say that. It's like, oh, what if he didn't lose? Oh, well then I would be picking him. But Ruffy I don't see the full experience in his fight style. He tries a little bit like the McGregor stance, wide, low hands, and a little bit low volume. And it concerns me because Mullarkey does keep a pretty active striking style, and he can mix in grappling at moments where he needs it. But Ruffy, coming down a weight class, I think that power is going to translate, and I think Mullarkey's chin's just done. So give me a knock. We're going to knock out for Ruffy in round 2.
Yeah, Ruffy, all of his wins are by KO too, as well. And Mullarkey's chin is just doesn't seem to be there anymore. He's getting hurt by John McDessie. I probably thought he lost that fight too, even though I bet on him. That was a tough look. And then Hackbrass just KO'd him. 5-6 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruffy, his Contender Series fight was all right. He was very low volume. He's a counter striker, and it looked like they were both waiting for each other to throw first. So I think that's kind of why there was lower volume there. But I think he knew he was down 2 rounds, and then the third, and he finally went for it and just put on a pace against Magomed Aliyev, or whatever his name is, and eventually wore him out and finished him. So he is a finisher, and I think he will finish Mullarkey as well. Yeah,
and Mullarkey's been dropped in 4 of his last 5, and I think you go past that, Jalen Turner, finished him, and I can't remember what the ones before that are. You might need help to help me, but he got dropped pretty much knocked out by Michael Johnson, debatably lost the fight. Never got dropped by Brito, dropped by Naimov, dropped by McDessie, knocked out by Hack Press. I mean, that's 4 times he's on the ground, so not a good sign.
Yeah, and Prado did hurt him in the first, and then he wrestled for 2 rounds, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I didn't go back and watch film on that fight. I remember it was too boring for me, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, Ruffy, KO, round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Iasmin Lucindo. Going with Lucindo, 22 years old versus 38 years old. That's a big discrepancy right there. And power. I think power on the feet is a big deal, and Lucindo has nice power, nice volume in her striking. And Karolina, good women's fighter. I'd say she's like an average level women's fighter. I believe before that Felice Herod fight, she was on like a 5-fight losing streak. Turned it around. She just, has the UFC experience versus a lot of these girls, and I don't see the power on Karolina's side to really do too much effectively. And just give me Lucindo by decision.
Yeah. Younger fighter. I think she'll have more power as well, more finishability. Karolina's got like 1 knockout, 3 submissions, and the rest are all by decisions. So she's typically going to decisions. I think Lucindo will have power advantage and finishability here. Younger as well. Home crowd. I think she'll be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, it feels like a pretty simple chicks fight. It's going to stay on the feet, at least how I see it. And the higher volume, more damaging striker in Lucindo should win. So, simple as that. Lucindo by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Gene Silva versus William Gomis. Interesting matchup. You got Gene Silva, a shorter, firecracker type of fighter, gets in the pocket, light on his feet, big punches. And then you got Gomis, who fights on the outside behind his kicks and does no real damage. I'm going to end up going with Gomis because these fight styles that Gomis and these other fucking guys like Adesanya, Ian Gary, the fight style they have, it just happens to be so effective for winning decisions, and it's hard to beat. And it's kind of playing the game of if you get caught, and I think that they do a pretty good job of not getting caught. So I'm going to go with Gomis by decision. I'm kind of cheering for Gene Silva because he's got more to prove, but I think Gomis can just skirt around the cage. So what are your thoughts? Yeah,
Gomis will be tough to hit, but I think when and if Silva does touch him, I think he'll be doing a ton of damage. He's super powerful and explosive. He's finishing pretty much all of his wins. One decision was the one Contender Series fight, and that dude took a ton of damage and was able to withstand that. But tough fight to call. I think Gomis probably does, just skirt around the outside and use that kicking game. But I think Gene Silva will be able to cut him off and use some of that explosive, powerful strikes and touch Gomis. Gene Silva is a little wild too. He's throwing like crazy flying knees, and then he'll throw a kick, like a flying kick behind it too.
Cardio holds up pretty well too.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I think Silva can catch him here and finish him.
See, I would be on the Silva side if this was in the small cage, because I think cutting off Gomis would be a little bit easier, but getting that big cage, not to mention Gomis' Sambo background, I think he can use that grappling at times when he needs it, or if Gene Silva, tries to shoot a takedown, say he's, failing at range, Gomis has really good takedown defense. So, interesting fight. From a betting perspective, if I look at this, I'd probably go with Gomis by decision because this dude kind of fights for decisions. And if you're on the Gene Silva side, maybe Gene Silva by knockout, but I could also see him winning a decision here. So I don't know, interesting fight. I kind of like an over as well. I think both these guys will test the range a little bit. Interesting matchup, and yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, Gomis has never been KO'd before.
He's been rocked.
Silva, yeah. Same with Silva. He's never been finished before, so yeah, should be an interesting matchup. But I think Silva will be doing more damage.
All right, I would disagree on this one, but Gomis by decision, I guess, for me. Okay, for the next fight, probably my most anticipated fight on this card. I love this matchup. We got Elves Brener versus Myktybek Orolbai, and you know that first name. I think I just nailed it. This is a tough one, man. We got Elves Brener coming in as a 2-1 dog, in Orolbai, you know, as the favorite here, and Orolbai looks fucking good, man. The offensive grappling, I think a good comparison would be Rinat Fakhretdinov. He looks like Rinat with a better jab and, better tools on the feet. Elves Brener, though, great ground game himself, a little bit wild on the feet, but a fucking dog. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to go with Elves Brener. Again, I understand why he's the underdog, but 2-1 odds on this guy who beat Garam, who went blow for blow with Garam. And, you know, he ate a lot of punishment in there, but he kept moving forward. He did the damage. Not to mention his takedown defense and scramble ability is just fucking great. He had great takedowns versus Garam. One of his sprawls in that fight is art. But anyway, I just feel like he can keep this fight on the feet, and we haven't seen Orolbai as much tested here on the feet. He's been using that ground game as a crutch, and he can use that stand-up against the weaker opponents. And Orolbai kind of got tagged by Medic early in their fight. So give me Brener by a second-round knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, Brenner's pulled off 2 big upsets in the Garam fight, and then the one before it against Tukagov. Yeah, I thought Brener looked really good against Garam. He was winning that first round until the last 30 seconds with that elbow or whatever Garam landed and cut him open. And his cardio held up really well. Was pushing the pace on him too, and eventually just wore out Garam. He was good offensively and defensively, grappling as well too. I think he can stuff some of these takedowns from Orolbai and win on the feet here. He's shown good striking as well. He's from Chutebox, so you know they're always doing that, pushing the pace on these guys, and they're just super entertaining. I like
Same
Brener.
weight as Oliveira too, so he can use Oliveira as a training partner. I would assume they're training together for the most part.
Yeah, they were. At least Brener was, or Oliveira was in Brenner's corner the last couple fights.
Right. And
assume they're training together.
yeah, I mean, Brener's very hittable, but like you look at that Garam fight, and it's like everything on paper for the most part lines up with what like Garam winning the fight. The kicks, the at range striking, the knees in the pocket, the elbows in the pocket, and Brener just kept fucking going forward and pressuring. And Orolbai hasn't felt that. He is going to be a very big 155er. He's coming down from 170. And that cardio on short notice looked phenomenal. I think both these guys have great cardio. I'd probably give the edge to Orolbai just from what we've seen. But great matchup. Give me the dog. These shoot box guys, they show up and they fucking fight. So, really excited for this one. Any more thoughts?
Yeah, Brenner's super tough and durable. Has never been finished before as well, too. So,
right. Okay. Elves Brener, KO, round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Another fucking banger of a matchup. Give me Joanderson Brito. Jack Shore, extremely well-rounded. I liked him better at 135. And to be honest, I think he could have leaned out a whole lot more at 135 instead of moving up to 145. Looked a little bit soft in his Makwan Murakami fight. And Brito is a lean, strong, tough dude. And And yes, his style makes him prone to like slowing down, but if it comes into a 50-50, I think Brito is just gonna fucking maul him if he can. I don't know, it's interesting, but I'm gonna have to go with the physically stronger man in Brito in this matchup.
Yeah, Shore moved up to 145 in his last fight, and yeah, he was very soft in the midsection. Don't want to judge him based on that, but Brito just seems like he'll be have the big strength advantage here. I think he can just outmuscle him and probably finish him as he does most of his opponents. He also has fought the better competition, I would say, as well. Just looking back, he's fought Diego Lopez in the Contender Series, Chepe Mariscal as well, Andre Fili, Bill Algeo.
Weston Wilson.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's probably his worst fight that he's had in quite some time. And he made him look as such. But anyways, yeah, I just think physically stronger Brito will be able to outmuscle Shore and finish him.
Yeah, and something that concerns me with Shore, as well-rounded as he can be, and he looks great, you know, he was doing great in the Ricky Simone fight of defending takedowns and stuff, but he's not particularly great anywhere. Like, his hands don't look amazing, he's a little bit hittable at times, the grappling is great, but it's not extremely dominant. So, you know, you're kind of looking for that one factor of his game to really show, and I haven't really seen it pop out quite yet, so... Good matchup, though. Give us Brito, KO, round 1. Alright, for the next fight, we have Dione Barbosa versus Ernesta Kareckaite. Sorry, I guess I'm not going to be able to say that one. But, going with Barbosa in this one, Ernesta, I see this fight style, and it looked impressive on the Contender Series because it was extremely high volume, but truthfully, what I saw was just a girl willing to throw a million punches, and it worked. You know, it worked, but I don't know if it's going to work here at the UFC level. Barbosa controls range pretty well, got pretty decent hands herself, but the difference is the grappling, and she does a move, God, I can't remember the guy's name who made the call on her LFA fight, but I'm blanking. But anyway, she does a move where she throws her right hand, and then she kind of falls into a natural position for a trip takedown. She uses it all the time. I think she just gets Ernesta with that consistently. So give me Barbosa by decision.
Yeah, I think Barbosa will win this on the ground here. Yeah, both these fighters are, or at least Ernesta is 25 years old, making her UFC debut here. Both of them making their debut here. Home ground for Barbosa. Grappling advantage. I think she'll win with control time and possibly find a submission. Ernesta, her last couple fights have all been split decision, so she's not really convincing. They'll go tat for tat on a lot of these striking exchanges.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Barbosa here.
All right, Barbosa by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. Another banger, folks. Every one of these fucking flyweight fights, they put all these prospects against each other. Man, are they good matchups. I'm going to go with Kevin Borjas here, and I'll quickly explain why, and I'll let you get your point in on this one as well. I just feel like Borjas is so fast. And if you watch that Joshua Van fight, very high-level fight, Joshua Van never gave Borjas breathing room. And then it started to kill the speed on Borjas throughout the fight. I feel like in a fight like this, Borjas will control the range and get more time to really work his game. And Costa, he's getting stunned by these straight punches a whole lot. And it makes for a great matchup. I love this matchup, but I'm going to go with Borjas by decision. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can see why you see that, but I like Costa here. But if it is a pretty fight, I think Borjas would win. But yeah, Costa needs to make this dirty like he did in that second round against Steve Erceg, where he just needs to go for it and swing those punches. He knocked down Erceg in that second round, too, and looked good. in that round. Yeah, I mean, in that first round, he was kind of getting pieced up by Erceg's jab. And probably Borjas could do that here as well. Costa's got good kicking game as well too, and he could grapple as well.
Right.
I think he'd have the advantage on the ground as well. He could steal a round just laying on him. But yeah, I think Costa needs to make this a dirty fight and to pull it off here.
I do think the heights are listed wrong here. Costa, he I think he is 5'4", but I think Borjas is more like 5'7" to 5'8". I think he's a pretty tall dude because when he fought Joshua Van, who's probably the same size as Costa, maybe a little bit bigger, he stood much taller than Costa. So that's something to think about. But yeah, I think a big part of this game, the kicks, the lead kicks, is a big portion of it. Costa loves to use his heavy lead kicks. He's a very dense, strong dude. And Borjas likes to use some of his own, but Borjas boxing with his wide stance leaves him very prone to those lead kicks. And yeah, like you said with the grappling, Alessandro Costa could steal a round just from getting him up on the fence. And I've seen Borjas get taken down, and he works to get up. He does. He just tries to get up on the cage, but he gets stuck there at the same time. So he can drain his opponent, but he'll lose minutes. That's kind of the debate there. But again, I think the big cage, you give this guy space to move with his speed. I think it's going to be hard for Costa to box him in and find that spot to either shoot the takedown or do that. But again, if he hurts his mobility, that's Costa's way, I'd say, to win this fight. So great matchup. I understand why you're taking Costa. It makes sense. So
yeah, I love these flyweights. They've been putting on some bangers of late too. So
and Costa, I mean, other than Jimmy Flick, some good opponents here. So
yeah, exactly. Amir Abazi on short notice, and then Steve Erceg. Those are his 2 losses in the UFC.
Right. All right. Borjas by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Joaquim Silva versus Drakkar Klose. I think this is a sneaky underdog here. I'm going with Joaquim Silva. This guy, I think he's been looking good for his age in these fights. He's very physically strong, and I think his cardio holds up pretty well with how physically strong he is. You looked at Drakkar Klose. This guy likes to put a pace on people, get up in their face, high volume striking, but he's a little bit prone to slowing down and getting hit himself. As we've seen, Silva, hit that left hook on Sarukian, almost finished him. Overall, I just think he's got a pretty good game. I like Silva to get a knockout here. I think he can stop takedowns if they come his way, and possibly be the more durable guy when it comes to in the pocket. Who knows? So, yeah. Yeah,
Silva landed a clean uppercut on Clay Guida too in his last one. Landed some really good elbows and knees in the tie clinch too. Yeah, I think he's super powerful, super explosive. His cardio seemed to hold up as well. Drakkar Klose, like you said, kind of slows down and is hittable at times. So I think Klose will be trying to put the pressure on Silva, and I think Silva will be able to finish him. He's super powerful. I think like his last 6 fights, they've all been finishes. He was getting either finished, or besides the Guida one, he was getting finished, or he was finishing them. So
right,
should be a very entertaining fight too, I think.
And Guida puts people in matchups that are really strange, where you're just stuck on the fence defending a takedown for 3 minutes. So like,
right.
So like,
I mean, Silva hit him a ton.
Yeah,
Guida was just super tough, super durable. Silva even had him in a tight guillotine as well, and Guida was able to slip out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious how Silva will do under the pressure of Klose's boxing, but I think I really like an under in this fight. I think both guys kind of stand up and swing and someone falls, because Silva's been finished a couple of times before now, and Klose, as we know, got finished by Dariush and has showed moments of vulnerability in other times. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Silva's been finished 3 times. Only 1 decision loss, 3 decision wins. So, typically, he's finishing or getting finished.
Right. Okay. Silva KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria. Going with Michel Pereira, just looking good at 185. I do feel this is kind of interesting, though. Pereira, a former welterweight, looks huge at 185. Potieria, a former light heavyweight, is going to look smaller than Pereira in the octagon. So that'd be kind of funny.
And that was the same thing in Pereira's last fight against Mikhail Olenjachuk. The same.
Right.
Olenjachuk coming down.
Right. And it's kind of weird with Potieria right now. I got the reads right on him in his UFC debut and a couple of his fights, and then you go into his last one. I bet on this Bierzek guy who looked like a great boxer, and then I can't tell if Poteria's gotten a lot better or if the Bierzek guy wasn't even that good. So that's like a hard thing to measure in these types of fights. But Pereira's just using a diverse skill set right now. He's getting finishes here up a weight class. And Potieria, he's slowed down in the past. I know Pereira has, but he's not doing backflips anymore. So cardio can still hold up. But we're going to go with Pereira, a second-round knockout. Interesting matchup. I don't like the line on Pereira. I would not play that, but I think he does win.
Yeah. Michel Pereira moving up. His last 2 fights at 185, and he's finished them in a minute. Whereas before then, he was going decision, and one of those fights was against Andre Fiallo, who's been getting finished by everybody.
Right.
So, kind of weird to think about that him moving up a weight and is now a mythical fighter, it seems like. Because he hit Petrosky with 1 punch and Olenjachuk with 1 punch, and pretty much both of them went down.
Right.
I think Pereira can work the body here as well and hurt Potieria. Yeah, I mean, Potieria coming down, he seemed to be better. He missed weight by like 1.5 pounds, but that was on short notice as well too. So got to factor that in. But yeah, I think this will be a really entertaining fight. Potieria against Blato was a super entertaining fight. They were going back and forth, knocking each other down. Yeah, I think this will be a super entertaining fight. Pereira's probably a little more durable. It's only been finished once. So I think that'll be his big advantage there, and I think Michel Pereira will win this.
All right. Yeah, I think you got it. So Pereira, KO, round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino. Feels like Anthony Smith is just trying to cash as many paychecks as he can before he's done with the UFC, because he's just taken so many fights here in the past year and doing not really much in those fights. So, gotta go with Vitor Petrino. He's way too big of a favorite, just with his experience level. He's looking good, not playing his money line. But I like an over 1.5 in this fight. Anthony Smith seems to get over the 1.5 mark, get finished, or make it to a decision. And the Lionheart just isn't there. There's no Lionheart in there anymore. And Petrino, we're going to take him by decision. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think Smith just wants to survive for as long as he can.
I mean, fucking Anthony Smith is a referee in Power Slap. He's one of the guys that catches the fucking idiots that fall down. I mean, think about that. That's crazy, you know?
Well, on paper, he should win here, right?
I guess.
No, no, he always says that.
Oh.
But yeah, he seems to be on the decline at 35 years old. Petrino, 26, he's coming up. He's looked better in his last few fights. The Drakkar fight was kind of a mess 4 fights ago, back and forth. But since then, I mean, he's looked pretty good. He's worked the grappling as well, too. He's improved there. He's super strong, super physically strong, too. Super muscular. Seems to hold up the cardio as well. Yeah, he seems to be good everywhere. So.
Right. I mean,
young up and coming fighter. I like him.
I do see some holes in his game. Like he's a little bit hittable at times, keeps the chin up and on the feet a little bit. But Smith just has, like I said, I don't think he has anything left to prove in this sport. He's just kind of here to get a paycheck. You're working power slap. You're telling Johnny Walker about your family, whatever the fuck's going on, you know. Everything's a mess with what's going on with him. There's like a funny clip always of him too. He's talking about John Jones, and he's like, if you take away John Jones's wrestling and his striking, he's like, oh, you take away his ability to fight. Okay, sure, then you can beat him. All right, Anthony. Yeah, I don't know. Give us Petrino by decision. Any other words here?
No.
All right. Okay, for the next fight, we have Paul Craig versus Caio Borralho. Give me Caio. These fighting nerds, there's quite a few of them on this card, and these Brazilians, I think a lot of them are going to show up and do well. Paul Craig, his style is so hard to predict because he'll go into some fights, people will take him down, and he'll just instantly fuck him over because they're stupid enough to go to the ground with him. He's got wins over, Magomed Ankalaev, Jamal Hill, Nikita Krylov when he was getting pummeled on the ground. And he just has all these comeback victories, but he looks like a sitting duck on the feet and not a fast fighter and never really truly progressed on the feet. And I feel like Borralho has a great striking style. As we saw, he outstruck Abus Magomedov, who's very strong in rounds 1 and 2. And he's got that grappling game as well, Caio. So yeah, give me him by knockout. I'm not sure if he'll actually get the knockout, but I'll just try it.
Yeah, Borralho seems to be well-rounded everywhere, like you said. His striking in the last fight against Abus Magomedov, and even the one before that too against Mikhail Olajaychuk, he stood on the feet for some of that fight too, and looked good doing it. Yeah, Paul Craig, he's been KO'd 4 times, so I think that's kind of where we're looking. Only been subbed twice. Yeah, I just think if the ground evens each other out, I think Borralho could win it on the feet and KO Paul Craig here.
I think one of the things that's super important to see with these prospects too when you have Borralho is he has such a good grappling game, and when he's willing to test that striking and get that experience, you just get levels better when you add that to your game and just don't only grapple. So I think getting that experience will be super helpful. Big cage, he uses his feet and his range really well, so Paul Craig would have a hard time cornering him to do anything anyway, and he'll probably just pull guard anyway because he does that in half of his fights. So yeah,
nailed it.
All right, Caio KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight we have Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Martinez. As good as Jose Aldo is, I think at moments in this fight he may just be a little bit low volume, and Martinez might just poke and prod with that left leg to the body to go shin to shin or whatever, just to add up something to score. I'm not confident in it because Jose Aldo's the king of Rio, and hell, we're in Rio. He may show up for the fans. He seems to be in fairly good shape still, and obviously he's just been incredibly good over time. But I think just you look at this fight and just the amount of output is who's going to win, and I think Martinez will have more output. So give me Martinez.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this. Aldo originally retiring against Merab in 2022, but he's been boxing. He had 3 boxing fights in 2023, so I assume he's still training, at least boxing. So making the UFC return here in 2024, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what his motivation is. Yeah, I think Martinez probably just chews up his leg, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Aldo's been very good at checking kicks over time, and
right.
And I'm not sure how that inside kick for checking will do. And hell, maybe Aldo checks one of them and Martinez doesn't throw it again. I'm not sure. But he's also got that light lead leg to Jose. So I don't know. This one's very interesting. Martinez's boxing is decent, but like when you're such a leg kicker, you get so fixated on just kicking legs that like you forget the other elements of your game. So if Aldo takes away that tool, it could just be a completely one-sided fight.
I mean, just looking at Aldo, I mean, before the Marab fight, he was on a 3-fight win streak against Rob Font, Pedro Munoz, and Chito Vera too. So
right,
those are top guys in that division. Martinez really hasn't necessarily fought the top of that division. The last 3 fights against Yanez, Saeed Nurmagomedov, and Cub Swanson.
Right. Yeah, it's a very different caliber of fighters, you could say. And I don't know. Again, I feel so weird about this one. I'm gonna have no action betting wise on a fight like this. I don't see the point. So, any more thoughts from you?
No, I hope Aldo wins in the home crowd, but that'll be cool to see.
Yeah. All right. Sadly, Martinez by decision. All right, guys, for the main event, as always, please drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below who you're picking, what you hate about our picks, whatever. Don't care. We got Alexandre Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. Give me the champ. Give me Pantoja. I'm shocked. This line right now is minus 240. And he was like minus 220 versus Brandon Royval, who has been in a lot of big fights. Steve Erceg, very good, well-rounded fighter, but we haven't really seen his grappling fully tested, and it's very good at the level he's been at. But Pantoja has a way of taking people's backs, holding control, and just control on the ground that is unbelievable. And I think Pantoja will wrap him up and find that rear naked choke in this fight. I think he takes the back. I think Erceg really hasn't felt probably this high level of a grappler in Pantoja. And give me him by submission in round 2.
Yeah, Erceg's kind of taking the fast route to the title fight here. David Dvorak was his initial UFC fight, his debut. Dvorak probably won the first and was winning the second until he got caught and got dropped like a minute left in that second round and gassed out pretty much. Erceg took over in that one. Then against Alessandro Costa, it was 1-1 going into the third, and Erceg just controlled him on the fence for most of that fifth round and won the decision there. And then Matt Schnell, obviously he finished Matt Schnell there. Like everybody else has.
Right.
But, I mean, he was going into some of those exchanges with his chin up in the air, and we bet on Erceg. I was kind of cringing, just some of those exchanges that he went into with his chin up in the air and nearly getting caught. He got caught against Costa as well in that one. He's got a nice jab. He's got good cardio as well. He's a decent grappler from what he's shown. But none to the level of Pantoja. Never been finished before. Super high-level grappler. 5-round experience as well. Erceg does have 5-round experience going back 2021, 2022, I think.
He's got good cardio, yeah.
Yeah, both these guys got good cardio. I mean, Pantoja looks like he's gassing, but he fights through it really well.
Yeah, I mean,
home crowd, I like Pantoja.
Erceg, I do think he's a lot cleaner of a boxer, but Pantoja doesn't allow these fights to be a lot of the times like a clean boxing match. He'll just stay in your face, and as we've seen, just like his chin is like extremely good. He just eats so many punches from Figueiredo and Moreno and a lot of these guys, and he'll just push through and continue to pressure on you. So, it's an interesting style that way. Like on the feet, I do feel like Erceg has more tricks, but again, Erceg, chin stays up high in the air. Pantoja's at least got his hands up a lot of the time. And again, that grappling edge, I think that's just the big edge in this fight. So, but as we've seen, it's not quite the 35 35-year-old curse because Pantoja's 34, but there always is this weird thing when they hit that time marker, they start to lose fights. I don't know when that'll happen. Hopefully not here, because I think Pantoja takes it.
Yeah, I'll knock on wood for that one. But yeah, Erceg's taking the fast track to the title shot here. Hasn't fought the same level of competition as Pantoja. I think Pantoja's been fighting these dogs at the top of the division. And yeah, I think that experience will pay off here as well. Grappling ability, home crowd. I like Pantoja.
All right, simple as that. Pantoja submission round 2. And now to the bets. All right, guys, and for the betting results, ended up with a winning night, going 2-1 on our bets, plus 1.01 units. Ended on the Nicolau loss, good win by Alex Perez. Nicolau's chin, a little bit questionable because it felt like Perez didn't really have his feet fully planted, but nevertheless a good punch. Nicolau, if he had a jab, man, would really help him keep his opponent out of his face. Perez could just get right into his face, and he's got to play the hook game. As soon as he opened up for the hook, that's when he got caught. So, good fight nevertheless. Not too ashamed of it. There's a lot more holes in this card that, a lot of people fell into. So, next bet, hit the parlays. So, Denise under 1.5 with the Hubbard over 2.5. I should say I got lucky, but I think overall it should have been under 1.5 for the Denise fight. And because it ended at 240, so I got it by 10 seconds. I think that's pretty lucky, but I also think for the style of the matchup and how things were going, there should be a finish in that type of fight. So, Austin Lane got mounted, about finished him in round 1, and then he gassed himself for round 2, and I was surprised. Denise actually defended the takedowns in round 2. I thought he was going to go straight back to the mat. And as soon as you land a real punch on Lane's chin, he's going down. Over 2.5 in the Hubbard fight, that was easy. I mean, those guys didn't hardly land a clean punch on each other, and neither really have great knockout power, so ended up being a really easy leg there. And again, Victor Henry, easy-ass win. I mean, round 1, somewhat close, but rounds 2 and 3, just all him. Ronnie Yaya, just, you're too one-dimensional. He had some power, but you gassed out. Henry just kept touching him until he got the finish. And again, Denise, Austin Lane couldn't get that finish, and Denise had a little bit more in the tank, a little bit more accuracy on the punches to finish the fight. And yeah, simple winning card. I'll tell you guys, we fucking hardly ever lose. If we do lose on these Apex cards, we lose like half a unit at max. And I will say it's hard to get like a crazy winning night on this type of one. I mean, we do have 3 bets, but if Nicolau wins, it's a 2.58 unit night. But, game we play. Let me think of the other. I had a side parlay, and the last leg of it was Span and Gushkov under 1.5. Ooh, I know a lot of people got burned by that one, because Ryan Span got caught at like the 3-minute mark, about went down, then he got caught at the 2-minute mark, and everyone got fucked by that. He almost got the rear naked in round 1, so a little bit messy in that one. David Onama came through as an underdog. We were really looking at that Eros Medic by finish 1. I mean, obviously it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing, but good win from him. And yeah, I mean, not a ton of great opportunities on this card, but pulling out the dub still, get a nice win back in our pocket and get some big wins for 301. So again, guys, stay tuned to the Patreon, and peace.
I know. It doesn't matter from the trenches. I'm built like this. Don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The all said I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Never